How we doing, everyone? And welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Tonight, we are going to be talking about the obvious, the Aaron Judge home run chase, the pursuit of Roger Maris to become only the third Yankee to hit 61 or more. He already hit 60. A very elite club. Only 6 players in the history of Major League Baseball have achieved this feat. Joining me tonight, 2 of my best friends, Mr. Brett Bandick, Mr. Idris Salam. How you boys doing?
What's up? What's up?
Doing good, baby. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yes, sir.
It's great to see you guys, man. Looking forward to having a really great show. We have a lot to speak on tonight, man.
Yeah.
We're going to start it with what just went down in the Bronx. Classic rivalry game. Stayed true to the very end. A lot of ups and downs this game. Jameson Taillon pitched a true gem today. Aaron Judge, as our buddy Mike Zappy stated, getting pitched around quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I guess my question for both of you, do you feel that this is his new reality? Is Aaron Judge going to be dealing with this until the end of the year, dealing with just having a hard time putting the ball in the seats? I wouldn't say in play because, the guy is a great hitter. He sprays to all parts of the field. But, Idris, I'm going to start with you on this, and then I'm going to pass it over to Brett. What are your thoughts on this? How do you feel about the immediate future for Aaron Judge dealing with a different style of pitching now that a record is on the line?
Yeah, nobody wants to serve up 61, especially the Red Sox. They're not going to. They don't want to serve up 61 because with the rivalry the Yankees and the Red Sox has, that would just be another notch on the wall for the Yankees. So I see them pitching around unless it comes to a situation, let's say bases loaded, or you have a man on, I guess, first and second, where people in scoring position, more than one person, to where it's 2 bases open. Then I think they'll pitch around them. But if it's 1 base open, I don't think they're gonna have to do something. They may try to have him chase pitches, but they're not gonna give him what he wants. And this is the reality. No one wants to serve up 61.
Brett, what are your thoughts on this? How do you feel about the way they're pitching him tonight, and if it's a thing that we're going to be getting used to?
Well, Idris basically nailed it on the head, man. The first 8-9 innings they pitched around him. Come extra innings when they had to pitch to him because they had that extra runner on base. They had to throw to him, and I think it depends on the situation. It depends what he's given. Like if he's the first batter, in the lineup, come the next inning up, they're going to pitch around him. Mm-hmm. And it's bullshit. It sucks, but apparently, that's the way the game is played now. But it is the Red Sox. So, they were duped. We called this months ago. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Zappy called it. You called it. Idris called it. I called it. They're going to pitch around them. That's just the way the game is played. Yeah. And it sucks. I don't like it. Like, I want to see entertainment. I want to see history made. But at the same time, nobody wants to be on the other end of that bat. You know what I mean? So it's just it's a crappy situation, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Whether it be in Yankee Stadium or in Texas, it's going to happen.
I find that it actually – well, tonight was a very entertaining game. I want to say that first and foremost. Yeah. Just a great buzz around the stadium. It had the playoff atmosphere for sure, even though the Red Sox are not playoff bound. Yankees do punch their ticket to October. They do not have the division sewed up yet, but that is on the way. They are in the playoffs officially after winning tonight. I noticed in I would probably say his second at-bat. Yeah. Aaron Judge had 1 legitimate good pitch to hit. Yeah. And
that's just one, though. You know what I mean? That's just one.
Brett, hold on.
And he doesn't know what's coming, so. Yeah.
The point I'm making, Brett, is you're going to get 1 good pitch. And that's the norm for Aaron Judge. That's nothing new. Yeah. Michael Wacha has owned Aaron Judge for the career in a short sample size, but over roughly 20 at-bats, Judge has not recorded a hit.
Right.
He did pick up 2 walks tonight, a third walk later in the game. In the 9th, Judge hit a missile to the darkest part, deepest part of Yankee Stadium. I was about to say the black seats because I'm thinking about the old bleacher days when it was like the pure black seats.
Yeah.
But I told Brett prior to getting on here, what I think is kind of funny about it is that if that ball would have left the yard, nobody would have caught it. And that's been a big buzz and a big stir.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way. I think he'll get it in Texas. Like I said from the start, I wanted him to get it against Boston. I really wanted him to get it against Boston, but that was a long shot. They weren't gonna.
And I mean, it's game 1. This is a 4-game set.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think they're not gonna throw it at him unless they have to, like Britt said, unless they're in that position.
No, they'll probably throw it at him.
Yeah.
They'll throw it at him.
Yeah,
they'll throw it at him. Yeah, and put him on base.
Yeah.
It's smart baseball at the end of the day. It's smart baseball because that guy can hurt you in a number of ways. And if you have to give up a base, or even if the bases are loaded and you could afford to give up that run, as opposed to, a weird game. Yankees just real susceptible to too many double plays. It's unfortunate that Tyone didn't get the win tonight because Tyone pitched a gem. But unfortunately, Clark Schmidt just had a real horrible inning. Yeah. But Tyone, in my opinion, an economical 101 pitches, very effective. Yeah. And he pitched, in my opinion, one of his best games of the year, and that's going to be needed because he could be a guy that gets leaned on in the second round. And this is a guy the Yankees are going to need. What do you think, man? Big-time homer today, 2 and 3 nights. He's starting to pick up a little steam. But I got to ask you, Brett, I'm going to start with you. We know what Aaron Judge brings. Mm-hmm. But a big critique of this offense has been who's going to help this man carry the slack. I mean, last year, Big G was very hot going into the first round playoff game, the winner go home game. Yep. He hit the monster twice, a couple of inches either way. That game last year in the playoffs is completely different. He had probably the most memorable home run last year in a regular season game against the Sox. I guess my question is he the guy? Is he the Pippin to Judge's Jordan this year? The other guy? Is he the other guy?
He's going to have to be. He's what is he? He's batting cleanup behind Judge, right?
Tonight they had him in the 5 hole, but I mean, in today's baseball, hitting 5th almost veers the same value as hitting 3rd because your lineup turns over a couple of different times.
Yeah, I would prefer to have him in that 4th or 5th spot, primarily behind Judge. Because I mean it's especially now, the way they're walking Judge, man on base, yada yada yada.
They got Judge
boom boom boom
hitting leadoff now. They're trying to get him every at bat possible. They got Judge hitting leadoff.
I don't like that.
What I do, because it gives you an extra at bat in the last innings. And another thing too, look at the production. It's hard to argue that having him hit leadoff is a bad move, or even having him hit second, because predominantly during the year, Judge has never hit 3rd. It's either been second or first.
Yeah.
And that's the new trend in baseball, because I understand what you're saying, and the traditional baseball is like, well, you want your bopper and your other bopper. Maybe you throw in Riz in between because it's the lefty in between the 2 righties. Mm-hmm. But, I understand dropping G in the lineup. He's still getting his feet wet. He missed a lot of time.
Yeah, no, I think
nagging injuries.
He's if he's healthy going into the postseason run, and he's batting, cleanup behind Judge. I mean that's the Bash Brothers, man. You know what I mean? Like that's I hope it works. I want it to work. But he is like you said it, he's the Pippin to, Jordan. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and Boone's gotten creative. He has to with all the injuries.
He has to.
But it's a good time right now because guys are on the mend. Carpenter should be back within the next week and a half, just in time for the playoffs.
Rizzo just came off the IL right before.
And we got LeMahieu.
So
we got LeMahieu coming back as well. So it looks like these guys are all going to be just in time, right in time.
Yeah, and I'm glad Gleyber Torres is starting to heat up a little bit. Last few days he's put the ball in play. Got a grand slam the other night. I think once we bring everyone back, we'll be great. We'll be fine. G is going to have to, he's going to have to step up. But I think once he gets really healthy, he's going to be a threat. I think we're getting healthy at the right time, and I'm glad we clinched tonight the playoff spot, because now we just got to maintain the lead. We don't have to go out and really beat someone's ass.
The Astros lost tonight too, I think.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm not even considering catching them at this juncture of the year. It would take a minor miracle. Yeah. But the Yankees solidifying the 2 spot. Most importantly, the Yankees just got to play good ball getting into this final stretch, because they got to get their rotation set up, and you want to have a quality start and then kind of prep them to where you have enough time to set that rotation exactly how you want it, because that's so vital, because you could have a great year, but your season could be over in 5 short days if you're not on your toes and not adaptable to playoff baseball.
And like I said, I think this is fine-tuning time right now. Let's get it right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I do like the fact with the September call-ups, because I do think that some of these decisions are actually going to be difficult. Yeah. Some of these young kids, and mainly Oswaldo Cabrera, he deserves to be on that postseason roster as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
And Harrison Bader, my God.
Ooh.
Everybody going berserk about the Montgomery deal, and this dude Bader has just stepped up.
Yeah, tonight
3 games in, and he's so comfortable wearing the pinstripes. Great arm.
Yeah.
No more Aaron Hicks. No more Aaron Hicks. Thank you.
Yeah. Whew. Please, I'm glad.
He's carrying your name.
Just the name.
Before we move it over to football, I do want to ask this, gents. In your opinion, when is he going to hit 61 or more? Is it going to happen tomorrow? Is it going to happen in Texas? What do you say?
I mean, we got 3 more games left in the Bronx. I think it's either going to happen tomorrow night or the night after.
I think it'll be tomorrow.
I'm going with tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
He might. I could see him hitting 62 in Texas, but I think 61 is going to happen against the Sox. I think tomorrow he's going to hit one. Yeah. He really got a hold of one late that I thought was going to leave the yard. So we'll see how that plays out.
I think he's going to leave the Bronx with 62, man. I feel he's going to leave the Bronx with 62. Yeah.
I think once he gets it, then you know what I mean. Like,
once he gets it, yeah.
I think
they're gonna leave the yard.
61 is more difficult than 62, just because you finally get it out of the way.
100%. Yeah.
So
we're gonna veer it over to football. We're giving you. We honed in on the schedules, and we're gonna give you what, in our estimation, are the best games, and we're gonna give you what we think is what's worth watching. We're gonna get into the analyzation of a very swingish week 3, because you got some teams that are trying to avoid the dreaded 0-3, and you have some teams that are trying to stay undefeated. And a lot of these teams, we're like, what? Who doesn't have a win and who's still undefeated? It's a very wacky September in the NFL.
But the thing about that, in only the 3rd week, I've never seen so many teams already being beaten. We don't have that many undefeated teams at 3.
No. Normally you wait until at least mid-October, early November, when everybody starts getting blown up a little. It's
maybe 6 of them I got. 2-0.
And I do think that the emphasis of making sure that the first couple of weeks have these massive ratings battles with prime teams, where in previous years they would save those games for mid-season. Now it's like, when you're dropping the banner, they want you to play somebody that's another elite threat. And, this year's opener is indicative of that. We're going to start it up with a team that has dropped quite a few banners, but things are a little different these days. We have the Patriots hosting the Ravens. These are newer rivals based on the better part of the last 15 years. Some very, very instrumental moments and just great playoff moments that both these teams head-to-head have had, and they both have gotten the best of each other at different times. The Ravens are one of those teams that can actually say that they hung tight and held their own in the Belichick-Brady era. Not too many teams could say that. Brett, you're the Patriot fan. We're going to start this one with you. What are your takeaways for what needs to go down here after winning one, losing one, trying to figure out where your season's going? What are the keys to victory here? What do you guys have to do to win this game?
Well, I'm not quite sure how I feel about this game. You know, Baltimore is coming off a nasty loss at home, a meltdown to Miami.
That was in Miami, but oh no, I'm sorry.
No, it was in Baltimore.
No, that was no.
No, that was in Miami.
Continue.
But, I mean, that's a big loss for them. And this is, you know what I mean? We're kind of in the path of that, not really a revenge game, but, that I can't believe we lost that game. So now we're going to kick some ass and take names kind of game. I don't want to be a part of that. But it just so happens that, we're on that week 3 week 3 schedule for them. Granted, it's at Foxborough. I think it's going to be a tight game. But I think
my apologies, Brett. That game was in Baltimore. My apologies.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I think our defense is going to be wore out in the fourth quarter. I think Lamar will start using his legs more. I think Andrews will come into play a little more in the fourth quarter. I think Baltimore might pull away, with a 7, 8-point win. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. I mean, I like our chances because it is in Foxborough. I mean, anything can happen. The microphones can go out. The lights can go out. You know what I mean? The tablets,
a game script can accidentally get lost.
Yeah, the tablets can lose their Wi-Fi. So that the quarterbacks can't see what they're doing.
I tell you, they must have some real interweb issues over there. I'm sure it's all coincidental.
It's almost like going over the Bermuda Triangle. You know what I mean? Like your shit just all your electronic equipment just goes haywire.
The Belichickian triangle. What's your final, Bretsky?
Final, I got 28-20 Baltimore. I hate to say it, but I don't like our chances this week. Not the way Baltimore ended up finishing the game last week and the way they're going to come out. So I don't feel comfortable with it.
Idris, Ravens at Patriots. How do you see this playing out?
I think it's a coin flip, man. Think about Ravens signed JPP today.
Yep.
So
good
that's
pickup.
And their defense is not that great. Baltimore,
not right now.
Their defense is banged up. They have a lot of injuries in the secondary.
That could help New England. And on the flip side, the same way. I don't know. Got to protect Jones, man. He has to make quick decisions because they're coming. Mm-hmm. I think they'll have to attack the secondary because and I always felt when Wink Martindale left that defense would weaken, and they're gonna. I think it's going to be a close game. And I agree with Brett. Lamar will probably wear him down, but I kind of
tough, right? Yeah,
it's just tough because I'm gonna go 28-24. I'll go Baltimore, but I want to say New.
I was hoping you would say New England. I was hoping.
I'm going New England. I just think they're going to attack that secondary of Baltimore, man.
All right.
I'm going to go 28-24 New England. Yeah.
I got the Ravens winning this. I don't think it's going to be all that close. And part of my reasoning is, were it not for a bad turnover on Pittsburgh's part, and that's a very bad Pittsburgh offense, the Patriots would be looking at 0-2 right now. The Ravens are a better team than the Steelers on offense. I will give the Steelers the edge on the defense. But just because the Ravens don't have a great defense doesn't mean that New England suddenly has all these playmakers. New England has not shown me anything on offense to prove to me that they have enough playmakers to hang with a pretty fluid Baltimore offense. I'm going to go Ravens 30, Patriots 23. I do think that the Patriots possibly get within one score late, but I don't think the score is going to be as close as the actual game. I think the Ravens, they're still waiting on their committee of running backs to get healthy. But I know that they've got to be very disgusted with the way that they allowed things to unravel in the game against Miami. So I like the Ravens in this one, sending the Patriots to 1-2. The Ravens would be 2-1 if that's the case. Possibly the best game of the week, keeping it in the AFC East, the team that came from behind and beat the Ravens in miracle fashion. Miami Dolphins hosting the Buffalo Bills, a team that looks damn near unstoppable right now. A team that I actually said to our buddy Zay, I think these guys could possibly go undefeated and make a run at 72 Miami as well as 07 New England for the best regular seasons of all time. Short and sweet. I just think the Bills have too much on offense. And while I do think that this could be similar to the old school games of where you saw the K-Gun versus Dan Marino, where you just get a ton of offense, I think the Bills have more playmakers on defense that are going to swing the game when it matters most. I'm going to go Buffalo 38, Miami 31 in a very entertaining game. But I think after this game and winning on the road, the Bills are going to prove to people why they are the Super Bowl favorite. You know, this is the same Miami team that gave up a ton of points to those Ravens. The Bills have a better offense than everybody. And the Bills' offense is not stopping. They are coming for them. And I think they make enough plays on defense. Tua Tagovailoa might have a rough one. But, I don't think Buffalo's ever going to really be in trouble, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Mine will be sweet, 35-17 Buffalo. I don't think it'll be close.
You're not even sweating them going into that heat. You're like, nah, man, they got this.
35-17.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 38-24 Buffalo.
Okay, so you guys actually have it a little more spaced out than I do.
Yeah, 38-24. But they're Jesus, they're good.
That defense is crazy.
Stephon Diggs is playing lights out football.
And
Josh Allen is making quick decisions. He's making the right decisions. And their defense, what can I say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, their defense is playing lights out right now.
Yeah, because see, Miami, remember they gave up 35 to Baltimore last week, and like I said, that was mainly Lamar.
Yeah.
Now Buffalo is built from front to back.
They're so diversified with how they can hurt you.
Yeah.
So you got to stop Josh Allen and Diggs.
Not to mention that, if you put too much attention on Diggs, you got two other receivers that can make you pay.
Right. So I say 35-17.
And a tight end.
And a tight end.
So, yeah.
But it all starts with Josh Allen. He's the guy who makes it all possible.
Yeah, 35-17.
Yeah, I'm going Buffalo, 38-24.
This could be a good one.
Could be a great one.
Yeah, the NFC North, everybody's playing at a decent enough level. Even with that Bears-Packers game last week, the Bears hung around. Vikings coming off a disappointing loss, but there's two ways to look at it. They shut out the Eagles in the second half, even though they didn't score themselves.
Yeah.
I do think that the Vikings really shot themselves in the foot with poor turnovers and very untimely penalties. This Detroit team, as expected from the Hard Knock series, playing very hard for head coach Dan Campbell. Definitely a team that expects to win when they got on the field, and that's something that is new in Lion Country. Yeah. In the end, I just think the Vikings have a little too much, and I do think that you're going to see Dalvin Cook have a really good game here and get back on track, because if I had to critique anything about that game script, it would have to be that the Minnesota Vikings abandoned the run game a little too early. And I don't think it was necessary for them to drastically abandon it like that. This week, I think they're going to lean on that run game. And I think that run game is going to open up things very nicely for Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. I'm going to go Vikings 33, Lions 23. I think the Vikings are never, similar to the other game I mentioned, they're never going to really be in trouble, but the Lions are going to hang around. I do expect a decent game out of Jared Goff, but in the end, I think there's going to be some costly turnovers.
Well, there's one thing you're underestimating with the Lions. They've scored 30-plus points the first 2 games of the season. Their offense is on fire.
Yeah.
It's their defense that sucks. But, I mean, their offense can score at will, man. I mean, their offense is playing great ball. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I'm going up there to like a, 37-33 ball game, 38-34 ball game kind of thing. There's going to be a lot of points scored. A lot of points scored.
I don't see it. And I'm going to tell you why. The Vikings on the road held the Eagles scoreless in the second half. Yes, I understand the Lions lit up the Commanders, but that's the same defense that got lit up by the Jaguars the week before that. Maybe the Commanders aren't that good at defense. Philly had a really bad week 1, but I think they proved that was an aberration. I'm not buying the Lions all the way just yet. They are playing better. And if Dalvin Cook gets going the way I think he's going to get going, Lions aren't going to be lighting it up like that. But we shall see.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that's why they play the game, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair.
I'm going 35-31 Lions in the upset.
All right.
35-31 Lions.
Somebody
going Detroit on that one. All right.
Somebody barring a tie is going to be 0-3. How many people said that either one of these teams would be looking at 0-3? I wasn't one of them.
I said 1-1 because I picked the Giants to beat the Titans. Now the
I certainly
Raiders,
didn't. I'm not going to lie. I didn't pick them.
I expected them to be 2-0. I really did.
I didn't have them beating the Chargers, but I guess you could say I figured both these teams would be 1-1. But 0-2, one of them is going to be 0-3 and dig themselves a real hole.
That would be the Titans.
I think so too.
Titans are going to be 0-3 this week.
I think so too.
Titans be 0-3.
All right, give me some finals.
Finals, I'm going 30-23. Vegas. 30-23 Vegas.
I'm going 27-20 Vegas.
I disagree with you both. I got the Titans picking up their first win of the season, and I'm going to tell you why. The Raiders' defense. I don't think the Raiders' defense is that good. I really don't. The Titans got
the offense.
I don't think the Titans' defense is that good.
Yeah, but the Tennessee offense isn't that great either.
Right, doesn't look like it.
I think the Buffalo Bills could make a lot of teams look as bad as the Titans did.
But what about
the Bills have a great offense. Giants put up 21. The Giants put up 21 points. That don't win too many NFL games these days. Their defense played really well week 1. I
hate to throw my Giants out there like that, but
I love the Giants, but I'm going to be honest. Our offense isn't exactly clicking on each cylinder right now. The reason I like the Titans in this game is because I really believe that Coach Mike Vrabel is going to get his guys ready to win a home game. I think Derrick Henry is going to assert himself in this one. And I think the Titans are going to play with some serious pride after getting embarrassed the way they did against the Buffalo Bills. The Raiders, I'm not too keen on them on offense. On defense. But more so than that, I'm not too keen on Derek Carr starting right now. He's already thrown 6 picks, and we're only in week 3. And I said it earlier. I feel that he's one of those guys that got too many toys for Christmas, and he doesn't know how to properly play with them.
And
he's a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, Matt Stafford is the only one that has more picks. Number 1, and number 2, Hunter Renfrow. He's the one that cost the game for him last week. Guy had 2 fumbles. Two fumbles. Derek Carr can't control that.
You can say that. You can say that if you want to. You can.
Can't control that.
If the Titans lose, they still have a chance to come back in their division. Because their division, Houston 1-1.
So what the hell, Houston?
But the Raiders, if they go down 0-3, that might be it. That might be it for them.
With the 17-game slate and with the schedules getting a little softer for the Raiders in a few weeks anyway, I don't think it's a death sentence if they go 0-3. But quite frankly, I don't think the Raiders are all that good. I didn't think they were that good last year. I thought that 2 teams that missed the postseason were better than the Raiders and the Steelers last year. It just didn't play out that way.
I think think I picked KC first, Raiders, Chargers. Then I can't remember which one I had for. I know I had the Chargers first.
I cannot see the Chargers finishing third behind the Raiders. I'm not even sure if the Raiders are going to finish ahead of Denver. I really don't, because Denver will eventually figure out how to work their offense. Their defense ain't going nowhere. The Raiders have the worst defense in this division, and that's not even debatable right now. And, you look at, it wasn't Carr's fault. Yeah, maybe not completely. But one thing I do know is the Raiders' defense gave up that game. You could blame it on Renfro. Renfro was knocked unconscious, Brett. He gave up the ball, but he was also knocked unconscious.
Yeah, he was knocked.
I haven't seen too many guys that have kept the football after being knocked unconscious. Raiders are not that good. They're pretending. That's Zappy.
Zappy's in the building.
Hey, Paisan.
What's going on, gentlemen?
How you doing?
Better late than never. We are talking about the team that beat the Raiders. You missed out on Derek Carr. You didn't miss much.
Hey, too late.
We got the defending world champions making a trip into the land of the Cardinals here. I don't know how you feel about this. Cardinals cannot beat Sean McVay. I believe they're 1-10 against him during his tenure as Rams head coach. The matchups don't suggest that the Cardinals are supposed to compete. I would consider James Conner a game-time decision. I don't feel too good about his availability this week. Everything looks like the Cardinals aren't supposed to win this game. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I am picking the Cardinals this week. I think Kyler Murray is going to be forced to be a lot more creative. I think that the predictability level is going to be out the window. And similar to what I said about the Raiders, I think the Rams have lost key individuals, not only on the offensive line, not only in the receiving corps, but also on the defense. You don't just replace a Von Miller. This game is being played in Arizona. The Cardinals are super overdue to beat this Rams team. And even though they are dealing with their own share of issues, I think the Cardinals are going to win this game, and I think Kyler Murray is going to have a nice little Sunday. Zappy, welcome to the show. What are your thoughts on this game, pal?
I'm going to go opposite of what you just said. I mean, I look at what the Cardinals have been doing this year, more specifically on defense, and we look at what Mahomes did to them week one. What was it, 360 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. And then we look at what Derek Carr did to them last week. He still had himself a pretty good game, 252 for 2 touchdowns. They have trouble stopping the passing game. Brett, are you all right?
No, I'm not all right. I'm not all right.
Look.
Idris, you know where I'm going with this?
I think I do, but
I don't even know if you know where you're going with it. You got your hands up like the cops just pulled out the yammy on you.
I don't understand what's going on.
What are you doing? Bro?
Like you guys are actually disagreeing on something.
Oh, that's what you're so excited about?
Yeah. This is like the first time this has happened in about
Spoiler alert, we're probably going to disagree on the Monday night game too.
In about 2 months. Like, holy shit, you guys actually don't agree on anything?
Don't worry about that.
All right, Brett, you interrupted Zappy. Are you going to say anything worth listening to here, or are you just going to interrupt him?
No, I had to interrupt you.
You could have just made the observation and shut your mouth. That would have been ideal for me.
I did shut my mouth. I did this.
All right, stop talking. Zappy, what are your thoughts on this game before you were so rudely interrupted by that guy over there with the Patriot shirt on?
I mean, like I was saying, I look at what Arizona's defense has been giving up to in their first 2 weeks, and yet again, they have a high-powered offense coming to town with the Rams. Last week, it looked like the Rams woke up. Their passing game was on track. Their running game was on track. And here we are. They're going into Arizona. You made a great point about Sean McVay. Some people he just owns. That is one of the teams he owns. I'm looking for Matthew Stafford to have himself a good game. We're also talking about Van Jefferson possibly coming back, and that's a huge pickup for the passing game as well.
They do need him. Nice points. Good point.
They need that third receiver, and if you put him in there, that's going to open things up for Allen Robinson and especially Cooper Kupp, because Van Jefferson has made a lot of progression over the years. I have the Rams winning this one. I think it will be a close game, a nice high-scoring game. I have it going 31-28 with the Rams having the ball on the final drive to score a touchdown to win the game.
Well, Cooper Cup is always open. Jefferson coming back, he'll be 5 miles open.
Hmm.
Rams 35-21.
Wow. Wow.
Bretsky, who you got winning this? I'm assuming you're going with the Rams as well.
I am going with the Rams as well.
I am on an island on this one.
34-27 Rams.
34-27 Rams. My final score, I got the Cardinals winning this thing 29-26. Walk-off field goal. Matt Prater. I think the Rams are going to have a couple of unforced errors that are just going to happen. You know, Matt Stafford does have a propensity for making some porous decisions. And I also am not sold on what they're going to figure out between Henderson and Akers. This game, another candidate for game of the week. Battle of the 12s. But things are looking a little different. Mike Evans out to suspension. Devontae Adams out because of a trade. New look Packers, new look Bucks. But, you know, both of them are still rocking pretty good defenses. Green Bay doesn't like playing in the heat. But Tom Brady's missing an awful lot of help right now.
It got Cole Beasley.
To the practice squad. To the practice
Cole
squad.
Beasley is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the practice squad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually where guys first report
Start off.
before they
Especially when they haven't been playing.
I know.
Yeah.
Probably got a vaccine when he was sitting down in a chair. Bretsky, you start this. This is your second team. Or is this your third team? Because I know Buffalo might be.
Third team.
Green Bay really doesn't have a very good track record in Tampa. And Tampa's defense is still playing pretty well. I mean, they're definitely a top 5, top 7 defense. And Aaron Rodgers still hasn't figured out who to throw the ball to yet. You know what I mean? So no, he hasn't. I still think Tampa's winning this. I still think it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's not going to be I don't think it's going to be a crazy high-scoring game. I'm thinking like 27-16, 27-17 kind of game, Tampa. I think Fournette's going to have a good day.
So you got Tampa. So Tampa's scoring 27 points. Is the defense going to score all these points
at home? I think they'll do it. I think they'll have at least a pick 6. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Or a fumble return. Yeah.
All right. Whoever wants in on next, and then I'm going to hit with my final thought on this particular game. Go ahead, fellas. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going with Bresky on this one. I think it'll be a little closer, 27-20 maybe. I think Tampa Bay will run that. Fournette's going to run. I think with the Packers, I agree with Brett when he says about Rodgers doesn't know who he's going to throw to. They're going to have to rely on the run. And what I seen last week with Chicago, Fournette might have a pretty good day. So 27-20 Buccaneers.
Zap, what you got here?
So I'm expecting a big defensive struggle in this game. I mean, we're talking about we don't know who Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the ball to. We don't know who Tom Brady's going to throw the ball to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, he doesn't have Chris Godwin playing this week, likely. He doesn't have Mike Evans. He doesn't have Julio, probably. Rashard Perriman, Russell Gage. I mean, who is he going to throw the ball to?
That's why I asked him, where's all those 27 points coming from?
Yeah, no, this is going to be if he even plays. He's, I mean, but then you look at they're going to rely on the running game, but Fournette is also injured this week. He's still questionable, but I bet he does play.
Schematically, they can turn themselves into very predictable.
It's going to be a very predictable offense. I mean, but it's going to be that way both sides of the ball. We're talking about two good defenses going head-to-head against each other with no receivers to have to really worry about. I mean, I understand the Packers made a few draft picks, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, but you got to show me. They still haven't shown me yet. I do believe we're going to see another Tampa Bay versus Saints type game. It's going to be low scoring early on, and then we're going to see the Bucs separate right midway through the third quarter. They'll get a key turnover, punch it in. I've got the Bucs winning 20-13. I have a low scoring game.
You heard it here first. Cole Beasley would be the Wayne Corbett, Julian Edelman of this weekend's game.
Yeah, but he's coming into an offense that he still has to learn.
Kobe.
I got the Packers winning this game on the road.
Easily.
I think Tampa's missing too many people for the Packers not to beat them this week. I'm going to be honest. Who's a better creator with just getting rid of the ball every which way and getting others involved? I'm sorry, it's not the 45-year-old right now. Not right now.
Thank you, Zappy.
Not with the O-line. Not with the lack of potential running game. Green Bay can stop the run, or at least keep it honest. And if Leonard Fournette,
Tampa can stop the run too.
Yeah, who's Rodgers going to throw to?
Who do I answer first? You or you? We got two running backs in Green Bay that both carry serious weight. In a defensive struggle, I like the offense that has the bruiser and the pass catching back instead of the offense that has the guy with the bad hammy and the guy with 4 career carries. I'm going to go with the team that's a little more seasoned and a little more experienced playing together. And even without those receivers, I like the dynamic that Green Bay has in the backfield, which I do think can bode well in this game.
Richie, why did the Packers lose to the Vikings week 1?
Why? They couldn't get anything going on offense.
Exactly. And
why did the Eagles not score in the second half against the Vikings? Because the Vikings have a pretty good defense.
But
we're talking about the Packers.
Why did the Packers keep running the ball on Chicago? Why did the Packers keep running on Chicago? Because who could Brady throw the ball? Who could Rodgers throw the ball to?
Nobody.
They ran the second half.
And we're talking about a Buccaneers defense that's been a top 3 running defense over the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're going to see a heavy load on Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Yeah. But, I mean, no one has been able to prove that they can run on the Buccaneers defense. Absolutely no one. And then when you take into consideration that they don't have that receiver, they don't have that Devontae Adams, they don't have that Jordy Nelson, whoever you want to name, that takes that edge off, that opens up the running game. No, yeah, I could see situations where if they have 2 wide receivers out there and a tight end and a fullback, they're going to be putting 8 in the box to stop the run. They're not going to let the running game beat them. They're going to force Aaron to beat them. And right now, he has not had the option. He hasn't had it from his receivers. None of them, not even his veterans.
I do think to a level, you're discounting how important field position in this game could be. And if the Buccaneers are starting off slow out of the gates with all their injuries, I'm sorry. I don't feel that great about a banged up Leonard Fournette and a naked receiving corpse.
But
Tom Brady looked very pedestrian in the first 2 weeks. Very pedestrian.
Tampa Bay got Cole Beasley.
Ooh.
Ultimately, I believe
is he going to have that Devontae Parker effect?
Yeah, come on.
No, I believe if this game was in Green Bay, then I would agree with you. But
yeah, me too.
We have to remember that too. If it's in Tampa Bay, that right there makes a huge difference for the game.
Yeah,
if it's in Green Bay, then I see the Packers winning a very low-scoring game as well. But right now, you can't. Yeah. The way the Packers looked on the road week 1 is what we might see week in and week out, with the exception against the teams they're supposed to win.
I think you nah. We'll watch the game. 49ers at Broncos. This could be a defensive struggle. Jimmy G's back in the saddle.
Jimmy
G. Porn star Joe. Jimmy.
Yeah.
My boy.
Broncos offense still trying to find themselves. The defense has been there. I, for one, think that this is a blessing for the 49ers. Not that you ever want to wish injury on anyone, especially a young player like that trying to just solidify his career.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead. I'll go after you guys.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Mr. Peligroso.
Peligroso.
All right, Pellegrino.
Yeah, I like Pellegrino too. I love that water.
I do too.
No, it's you look at this game coming up. It's really the question is who does this game matter more to most? Is it to the 49ers or is it to the Broncos? Broncos came up with a win last week against a Texans team that, let's face it, they should have beat them by a lot more, but they barely struggled to win that game.
Yeah.
It does help that Denver is playing at home. But, when I look at the 49ers offense, yeah, they lost Trey Lance. But to me, that's a blessing in disguise. Trey Lance is not ready. I'm already calling him a bust. I mean, this dude has only played a game and a half this year, 2 games last year. The year before that, didn't play at all. The year before, or he played 1 game because of COVID. And the year before that, he played a little bit. I mean, this guy has had no reps, hasn't started 25 games. So then you bring in Jimmy G, a guy that's got him to the NFC Championship twice, got him to the Super Bowl once. I mean, the 49ers have better weapons as well. They have a better coach, especially when it comes to the running game. We're going to see a struggle. Don't get me wrong. This is going to be a defensive battle, especially 2 top defense in the league right now. But I just think that when you really break it down, the 49ers are more seasoned to win a game like this. And I think they're going to win a game like this 27-17. I think they're going to be just fine with Jimmy G in the lineup. And I think they're going to, Russell Wilson clearly has not figured it out yet in Denver. He's got those weapons, but for some reason there's things missing. And, you got to take into effect Jerry Jeudy. He's got that lingering injury right now. There's too much. There's too much. I think it'll be a close game early, but I think the 49ers take off, and I think they win by 10.
I almost got the same final, 30-17. I don't even have to add. Yeah. Zappy said everything I pretty much feel. 30-17 Broncos. Excuse me, 49ers. 30-17 49ers with ease.
Listen, at any game that's being played at Mile High, you're not going to win with at ease. It's a primetime game. Denver has a great track record in primetime games in Mile High. I think Kittle is a game time decision. I don't even know if he's playing yet. I know he's questionable, but I think he's a game time decision.
All right. And if Denver's tight end starts, does that matter? He put up a bagel last week.
No, it does matter. It does matter, 100%. I think this might be the week that Russ actually figures it out. I'm calling.
So the track record.
I'm going 27-24, Denver.
The track record. Are you referencing the Elway era? Are you referencing the Osweiler era?
Every era. Every year.
Because I remember about 4 or 5 years ago, the 0-5 Giants grabbed the win in Mile High. Anyway,
it's tough to play there, but I'm taking Denver in this one.
30-17 49ers.
Yeah, I'm taking the team that was a game away from the Super Bowl, and a team that was in the Final Four of the NFL 2 of the last 3 years. Not a team whose quarterback's making his 3rd start with the franchise.
If it was Trey Lance, okay, but 30-17.
No, you've got the seasoned veteran, the guy that should have been going. I understand you have to start your rookie, especially at being a number 3 draft pick, but the guy just does not look ready. And then, of course, he had the unfortunate injury that happened. But no, it's just too much right now. There's too much. This 49er team is a team that a lot of people are picking to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
17 college games and 4
17 college games. So there you go. That's Trey Lance. And then you talk about George Kittle, Brett. George Kittle has not even been featured in this offense yet, and they're doing just fine. So,
Brett would know that. Brett would know that if it wasn't mulch day on Sundays. Just my take.
Mulch day.
Enough about these. Enough about that game.
I'll give you a mulch on your forehead. Yeah, go ahead. Talk about this.
Okay, that's enough of him. Cowboys at Giants, Monday Night Football. We've got I'm like, Brad, you had your opportunity to talk. And now, when we're trying to turn the page, now you want to talk. You haven't made a football comment in 3 weeks, and we're in week 3 of the NFL season.
We got to talk about Eli Apple.
Come on, bro. I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to let you back in. I need you to relax.
Okay. All right. Who wants to go first here?
Let the Cowboy fan go.
Yeah, he's the guest.
Go ahead.
Mr. Aaron
All right. So we have ourselves a situation where it seems like Kellen Moore knows how to run this offense when Dak Prescott is not in the lineup. The one thing we have been screaming for is run the ball. run the ball. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I don't have Dak, so let me just go ahead and run the ball to take the edge off of Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush looked great last week, yet again as a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas has Michael Gallup coming back. That's a big jump for that offense because one of their biggest things has been the lack of the receiving core. Now you put Noah Brown at the number 3. You still have CD at 1, Michael Gallup at 2, the guy that can stretch the field, which is something Dallas has been missing.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Smith at left tackle has surprised everybody. The guy looks like the best offensive tackle taken in this year's draft. Dallas once again hit it out of the park with a first-round pick with an offensive lineman. Yes, we're 2 games in, maybe too early to tell, but just how fast he's producing. And you know that because they're playing it's Jason Peters in practice at left guard, a position he has never played in his whole career, meaning Tyler Smith is doing just fine. Now I look at the Giants where, they have had 2 good wins. They had a comeback week 1 against the Titans. They beat Carolina last week. But those are kind of games that it's just like you're supposed to win. The Titans one, I have not expected much out of the Titans this year based off of the offseason acquisitions and losses this team has done. But going back to this football game, I think the biggest issue for the Giants, for one, their offensive line has given up a lot of sacks in the first 2 weeks. And now enter Dan Quinn in this defensive scheme where a lot of players have gone on record and said Dallas's front is one of the best in the NFL because of their stunts, because of their speed, everything. I think that reason alone is going to give Daniel Jones some problems. Dallas has got a good running defense. Defensively, I think they're going to be fine. Michael will probably get his 2-3 sacks. I think Daniel Jones is going to make that one key turnover that's going to make a difference in this game. I know I predicted the other day, 23-20, but as I analyzed it more and as I've seen what's coming out, I think the Cowboys with a smart Kellen Moore that's running the ball and utilizing Tony Pollard the correct way finally. Now we have another receiving option. There's just too many things saying positive things for the Dallas, with the biggest question mark for the Giants being their offensive line and Daniel Jones under pressure. And I have the Cowboys winning. I have them winning 27-20 now.
Brett, what's your thoughts on this? And then I'm going to let me and Idris wrap on this one.
I think he made a good point as far as pressure on Dimebag. And I think he will make a costly turnover, but it's going to be inside the red zone, which has been his weakness. He hasn't made great decisions in the red zone as far as passing the ball. I think Saquon has got to come through in this game. I think inside the red zone, it's got to be Saquon all day. I think if you let Danny Dimes try to throw that ball inside the red zone, he's gonna force throws and make those mistakes, which they can't afford. I think it's gonna be a close game though. I think the Giants defense has been playing exceptional ball. They've been playing really well. I think it's gonna be tight, man. I think it's like a 21-17 game. Probably like 22-18 game. I think it's gonna come down to a final field goal. And I think in the Meadowlands, all day. I'm taking the G-men 22-18.
You're up, Idris. What are your thoughts on this?
Number one rusher in the NFL is Saquon Barkley right now.
Indeed.
In the NFL, Saquon Barkley. Yours?
Yeah, but all of that was week 1.
Zappy, let him in.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you good.
You got 6 minutes left.
Neither defense. I mean, Dallas has they got a defense. Ours is decent. Our defensive backs are weak. We're kind of weak on the corners. We picked up Jalen Smith, was going to help because he fits our scheme. Cooper Rush is a good quarterback. Can't take nothing away from that kid. He's game manager, yeah, and I say 20. We'll go 24-21. I'm gonna go Giants because we're at home. 24-21 Giants. If it was in Dallas, it'd be the other way around.
Zappy made some good points, as did Brett.
That makes some sense.
We know what Dan Quinn is going to bring,
Mm-hmm.
and why it's going to be a true challenge for Andrew Thomas along with Evan Neal.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want to see from the Giants offense coming in. I said this to some of my Cowboy friends. I feel that in the Giants' case, the pass could open up the run. In the Cowboys' case, I feel it's the opposite. I feel that the run could open up the pass.
Yeah.
If I'm the Giants, I'm scripting a shit ton of no huddle coming out. You need to keep an over-aggressive offense on their heels, and the only way you do that is you have to be successful on your short routes. You have to be able to get that ball out quick. One thing that I am pleased with is Daniel Jones in 2 short weeks has shown a progression with his reads. It's still not perfect. It's still a work in progress, but I do think that they are slowly but surely getting better. Nothing to see with Kenny Golladay. I expect Sterling Shepard to play a decent role in this game. I think Saquon Barkley is actually going to be able to hurt Dallas potentially in the passing game, not necessarily initially in the running game. I do think if the Giants are able to muster an early drive, initially just running a lot of no huddle, I do think that they're going to be able to assert themselves early. And while I agree with damn near everything that Zappy and Brett said about the Dallas defense, in a game like this, I think the kicking game is indeed very important. And I trust Graham Gano a lot more than I do the Dallas kicking game. And I'll be honest, I trust Daniel Jones just a little more than Cooper Rush. I do. Giants 23, Cowboys 20. I got Graham Gano kicking a late field goal to put it away for good. Before we get out of here, with history in the balance, I'm giving each of you about 40 seconds to run with because we don't have much more time than that. Brett, you get Aaron Judge. Idris, you get Babe Ruth. Zappy, you get Roger Maris. Brett, you up first. 30 seconds or less. Tell me why Aaron Judge had the best single season of these 3 prolific New York Yankee home run hitters. You're up. Get it.
Well, number one, he's on the same list with Mark McGwire. Sammy Sosa's on there 3 times. Your boy Luis Gonzalez, and also Big G is on that list. You know, hitting 50 home runs before the month of September even starts. But believe it or not, I mean, Roger Maris is on that. He's on that same list. He hit 51, the same as Judge coming into September. But he felt, man, I got to go with Judge on this, just because he's literally number 1 in every single offensive category in Major League Baseball. Okay, time out.
Approaching the Triple Crown. We're at 90 seconds. I got to let these guys in.
No, go ahead.
Idris, you're up.
Babe Ruth is the standard. He played both sides of the ball. He was more than just a hitter. And every hitter is judged by Babe Ruth. Face of the game. Back then, maybe not as many teams, but that means the pitcher got to learn you a whole lot easier. So, but he still did what he did. 60 home runs in 150-something games. Ruth is the man. All batters are based on Ruth. Period. The great Bambino.
Zappy, you're up.
Okay, so my start bench cut would be Ruth starting, benching Judge, cutting Maris. But anyways, going to actually Roger Maris. I mean, if you look at the guy's career, he had 1 great season. And when I say great, he hit 61 home runs 1 year, where the rest of his seasons he was averaging 33. I think he had a 39 home run season as well. Anything else about that. Then you look at his RBIs for the year. You know, he only went over 100 RBIs 3 times, I believe, in his career. So while I can make a comment saying that, hey, that one season was great.
Pause. We're going for a continuation. We'll be back in 5 minutes. I want to give these guys the just due to finish this segment. We'll be back.